I think that's kind of one of their weaknesses, and that's something that if they could figure that out, I think they'd be a much stronger team. But it is what it is. This is what we got to work with, and they still done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both these teams are sitting fairly good in the standings. The Bulls are at 11-6, and the Flames kind of right behind that at 10-7. So for both these teams going into this, you have, a team of similar skill level. So you're gonna really want to, as we're getting later in the season here, show what you can do against these teams that you're gonna be, just statistically wise, should be more closely matched against. And this is kind of just a little sneak peek at what those power rankings are going to be heading into playoffs. But getting into game one here, of course, we don't have Grass on the side of Bulls. We do have Chaz coming in for him. So missing one of their starters, but Tokyo and Retract on the field, as they usually are. And then for the Flames, of course, as we mentioned, Ghost and Red Snow, both newer players, newer additions, with all those roster changes coming out for them alongside Draftee. So this game one, I think we'll have some indication of what this Flame squad can do, and Draftee just bangs this one downfield and scores the first.
Yeah, Draftee has been there for the Flames for the whole season. He's been the most consistent player for sure on the Flames roster. He's shown up every game, every week, and he's always there to fill in. And he's just kind of there. I would say he's the go-to guy right now for the Flames. He's that X factor right now for the Flames. That he can really turn a game around for them.
Absolutely, and we did see there a bit of a rotational mistake from the Bulls. I mean, having no third man back meant that I just think they were positioned too aggressively on the wall, trying to get in front of that ball. As Draftee can't drop that one down. Almost got an insane angle off that pass from Ghost, but the Flames here get the first goal and already a good amount of pressure. Just utilizing Draftee right now, has 4 shots already. But we haven't seen much from the Bulls, a few demos going out. So there's still a lot that really hasn't been seen from both of these teams. I'll have to see what they're made of, as Retract does get another demo. Ghost places that one to the side, but can't get too much done. A 4th demo already on this game. Tokyo with control, places it high, but can't find his teammate. Chaz was looking for a little bit of a pre-jump, and now Draftee on the 1v1 will find it over Retract. Just had a great angle and manages to place it over the last defender.
And Draftee is one of his strongest abilities is he knows when he has space. He can always read when it's a one-on-one or when he's got a little bit of space and time to set up a dribble and get a nice flick. So he's very smart, very strong at those dribble plays, and that's one of the things that's been what makes this one of the strongest teams. Is Draftee is just so consistent. He's all over the place. He knows when to go. He knows when to flick. He's a player. He's a great player for the Flames, and I hope they get to keep him next year.
I mean, 3 for 6 right now, shooting 50%, and it's 100% of their goals so far. Draftee putting on an absolute show in game one, and to that point, in that second goal that we saw, you could just tell the difference there in the 1v1 mindset. Draftee recognized just where the defender was positioned. It wasn't really shadowing, because he was positioned right in front of where Draftee was going to dribble, so he didn't even necessarily need a powerful touch. He just needed one that would get over the defender so that he couldn't double jump and pop it up. And it's just, that's an incredibly good skill to have in a player, to just recognize when he has that space and how little he needs to do to score, because sometimes you can almost shoot yourself in the foot by doing too much to try and get a shot in. Retract, though, I mean, I don't know if this is too much. This is a bit of a mess, but he manages to find the back of the net.
Yeah, Ghost was trying. That's a pretty tough read, but it's one he's definitely capable of making. That's one he should have gotten off to the side. It is a tough read to make when you're coming straight up and the ball's coming over your shoulder like that, but definitely possible. I'm sure Ghost would like it back. But, this Flames team still does have that 2-goal buffer, so they're not really sweating it too bad. It's kind of one of those mistakes you can hopefully let go and not really turn that series around because of it.
Yeah, 2 minutes left here, and the 3-1 scoreline. Flames are looking pretty solid, and that was, again, it was a messy goal. That doesn't really say anything about the defense. It was actually impressive that they managed to get in position to keep that out as long as they did. It was just that Retract eventually came through and bully balled it into the back of the net. We'll have to see now, though, as that is the first goal for the Bulls. If they get any momentum off of this, or if the Flames can just kind of stagnate it again and keep going with the pace that they have been. Tokyo does get a good touch, but I mean, Retract just way out of position there, sitting at the midfield, and transitions all the way downfield. As Tokyo now has space, and we'll get it over one. Can't find the follow-up, though, and so far, surprisingly, I think the Flames are looking like the quicker team out here on the field, managing to get these reads a bit faster than the Bulls.
Yeah, I think the Bulls have been caught off guard a few times by how strong this Flames team is capable of clearing that ball. I think that's also one of the strongest things this Flame team has is their clears are usually really strong or they're towards a teammate. Oh, the communication there. Ghost had to have called him off. I think that was Draftee. Yeah, Ghost had to have called him off and said, hey, I got this, let me go. Because I think Draftee could have maybe squeaked out another touch. So that's some good communication there. Well played by Ghost, and they're back up by 3 goals now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't know if Draftee had the flip reset or not, but just the threat of him being in the air still meant that no one could challenge that ball really without the possibility of them getting faked out or a flip reset coming out to pop it high. And then that's just a free shot for Ghost. He comes through, puts in the 4th, and the Flames with a very impressive Game 1 performance so far, trying to see if they can extend it even more. Tokyo with a whiff there will be cleared out by Retract. This touch sitting in the corner, Chaz. We'll get 2-inch done, and it looks like as this last 10 seconds come around, this will pitter out, and it will be the Flames taking the win. And just, again, I mean, solid play from them. Really no large mistakes to speak of, and they're going to take Game 1.
Yeah, the Flames played really solid across the board. They did have that one, I think it was Ghost, who kind of had that little bit of a whiff in front of the net, but it was an awkward spot. It was kind of a spot they shouldn't have probably let the ball get to, but, overall, the Flames, they look solid. I wouldn't have seen any real big red flags out of the Flames, but the Bulls just didn't seem to be able, besides that one mistake there by the Flames, by Ghost, the Bulls didn't really have much of an offensive pressure. I would say it was that whenever they did, the Flames are just so strong and so capable of clearing that ball out to space, downfield, or to a teammate that the Bulls couldn't really get anything set up and going for them.
Yeah, I mean, they got doubled in shots, 10 for the Flames and only 5 for the Bulls. Tokyo sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard. He was just kind of shut down. I mean, they just weren't giving space at the midfield for Tokyo to do what he wanted to. They were constantly making sure that they had a player challenging. And then even if it got by that first man, they were always in a great position with their second player to be able to make a save or clear it out and combine that with just really strong touches most of the time. And really the Flames did a great job of looking at the Bulls' play style, I think, and saying, all right, we just need to play this style that we have been, and we should be fine. We just need to be consistent. And that's what they did. And it looked absolutely great.
Yeah, the Flames played some great Rocket League right there. The Bulls, I think something they could try and strive for is they're getting clears, but they're usually not very far, and they're not really out to a teammate. So they're kind of just little lofting clears to midfield that they can't really follow up on. So if they make those clears something where they could have a teammate follow up on it or follow up on themselves, I think they would see a lot of improvement.
We'll have to see what they can do. Is heading into Game 2. They already down in the series. It's the best of 5, first to 3 wins, as it has been for the entire season. Nothing new there, no surprises, no gotcha moments. And it does look like a few players left. I was wondering if Tokyo was going to switch back into the Octane, but none of that did happen, so looks like I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls are confident in their ability to beat the Flames. It's just that they need to clean up their play, because if they don't, I mean, the Flames, they just look so good right now.
Yeah, right here, this ball started on the Flames corner, way back in that top right corner. Red Snow had a nice clear, and then just Ghost and Draftee are able to keep up the pressure and turn it into a counter-strike, or counter-attack. And that's just what this Flames team's so good at. If you don't, if you don't stop the clears, if you're not there to challenge them, they're just going to keep pushing, and they're going to have, wide open nets to shoot at.
Yeah, I mean, they've really done a great job of playing the transition, of recognizing where the weaknesses are in the defense, and even there we saw a double commit, but you could tell that Draftee was called off. He didn't try and keep going for the ball. He actually backflipped out, went to the back wall to rotate in. And just great communication from them on that transition, and that's really where they've been punishing the Bulls, who've been caught really far up. And even on defense, when they have 2 players back, you see that they're still getting caught on that front post, and they're not able to really get a good challenge against a simple just like pop-up, and Ghost is going to put in a second. They're just not slowing down.
I think Draftee kind of saved Ghost here a little bit. Ghost did jump. He jumped a little early. He was kind of expecting a challenge, which is understandable, but you know, if Draftee didn't make that touch, which is just a great heads-up play there from Draftee. Probably great communication between Ghost and Draftee, Ghost saying, or telling him he's kind of got a weak challenge, and Daffy's there to just tip it up, and Ghost is there to knock it home.
Yeah, I mean, no double commits to speak of, really. It's just been solid all around, and I mean, it's hard to say anything about the Bulls because it's felt like they haven't been able to do anything in these past 2 games. They have really just been getting shut down utterly by the Flames in these first 2 games, and now another transition. Red Snow can't place it in, just a little bit too slow on the shot. But I mean, they don't need to score anymore. They have 2 goals, they have a buffer, and if they just keep if they just keep up this solid defense, it really feels like the Bulls won't be able to get any opportunities. As I say that, a caster curse and a half. Tokyo is finally going to put one in for the Bulls.
And I think what, Tokyo did so well there, that was finally a ball where he hit it and he had a way to challenge it up again. It wasn't a ball he just hit away, let float away from him, and, let the Flames keep clearing it themselves. So I think if they can find a way to, make, instead of just one, if they can turn it into 2, 3 touches or passing plays, they're going to see a big improvement from just overall gameplay as a team.
Yeah, and that's something that you see with some of the top tier teams in Rocket League, is their ability to consistently make touches that they're able to follow up in some way. It's not just, they don't just clear it to get the ball out. It's Chaz with an incredible save.
Like, that whole play was set up because the Bulls weren't able to get touches they could follow up on. They were just they floated it out there they got it away from the net, but they didn't do anything other than that. They didn't get it to the side, they didn't get it to a teammate. They got it away for now, and then, the Flames are going to eat that up. If you just leave that ball sitting there, oh wow. Unfortunate, uncharacteristic whiff there from Red Snow.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit messy here from the Flames for like the last 30 seconds or so. We saw 2 double commits, and then them trying to recover, and Red Snow with a whiff there leaves it open for Retract to tie it up. So the Bulls bring this one back to an even scoreline, but I mean, yeah, that really is just a really fundamental thing that has been missing for the Bulls, is just on those clears, on their touches at the midfield, is it hasn't been to a teammate, it hasn't been something that they're able to follow up a challenge on, and it's been just quickly taken away. The game is tied, but again, that was just, a few mistakes from the Flames. Really messy few seconds there as they tried to keep on the pressure. Daff!
He always knows when he has any space. He just sees it. He knows he's got if he gets a little touch, he's got plenty of space. That angle, he knows he can hit that angle. So that's just, I think he must play a lot of 1s or 2s or something, which is just, you can see it showing out now.
That power slide was sublime. I don't think there was any other way for Draftee to get that shot in if he didn't take that exact path, and he slams away the hard angle. Incredible solo effort from him to get the Flames back in the lead. We'll have to see if this time they can hold on to it as a team bump, and I mean, this really feels like the Flames are kind of just somehow making larger mistakes than the Bulls.
I wouldn't say this is so much the Bulls playing great, or as the Flames just kind of tripping each other up, making mistakes they really shouldn't be making. They the uncharacteristic mistakes out of the Flames, and if you're the Bulls, you'll take them, but that's not really how you want to get your wins. You want to find a way to get some passing plays, some shots on net, some, maybe if you need to get some solo dribble plays like Draftee doing, those are more reliable than expecting or hoping for the Flames to make a mistake.
Yeah, and the biggest problem with it is, even if you win the game off of that, then the oh, Tokyo! What? That was an insane Cuxer pinch. Draftee was back in time for it. But, you know, just puts the little seed of doubt in there, says, oh yeah, by the way, I can hit this. But yeah, I mean, if you win a game off the opponent just making really big mistakes like that, like thumping your own teammate, back-to-back double commits, the problem with it is it's not convincing. You know, scoring off that, it doesn't really do much to your mindset to say, oh yeah, we completely outplayed them or anything. It's just kind of a recognition of, oh, our opponent's messed up and we got a win off that. But if you head into the next game, it doesn't really tell you anything about if you're going to be able to continue that performance, because it's completely reliant on how your opponents play, and that is never how you want it to be. What?
Oh, this Flames team is so good. I said it earlier, their strongest thing is getting it to teammates. You know, they always got somebody cheating up, somebody, you know, in that passing lane, and that's really been the difference so far between these two teams. Is the Flames, they know where everybody is at on the pitch. They don't just, you know, see the ball and try and flick it towards the net. They got the ball, they know they got teammates to their right, they got a teammate behind them. They just know where everybody is, and they can play a lot smarter and faster because of it.
Yeah, I honestly, I wasn't expecting that to be a goal. But what happened there was Chaz trying to, I think, kill it against the sidewall. Unfortunately, just kicked it out into the midfield where Draftee was sitting, and there was no one to challenge it. And yeah, I mean, as you said, Ghost just recognizes that, made the initial challenge, and doesn't give up on his rotation because it's the end of the game, just keeps going. And they managed to connect on the pass. The Flames, I mean, I think that they should have won that game if we're just looking at it objectively. I don't think it should have even been a 4-3. No. So I think if they had lost that, it almost would have been a robbery. Oh, Kawhi is coming in.
Yeah, Kawhi is the AAA sub for the Flames. Oh, and of course the server goes down probably because we're switching bodies out. But you know, he's played. I think he played the last time the Flames are on stream, and he's a pretty solid player. But maybe they're just, you know, seeing where he fits if they do need, because this Flames team has had to use a lot of subs throughout this season. So it's good to get as many people with as much experience as you can to help you out, just in case one of the main guys can't show up one day. So it's good to get him in there, get him some experience and exposure with the big boys, as they say, and hopefully we can still see the same. Hopefully we don't see any changes of how the Flames played in those first two games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we will. I think that it really was Draftee and Ghost running a lot of that. But yeah, and I do agree. I think especially if you are the Flames here and you're looking at it and you're saying, well, listen, those first two games, we have to recognize that we made mistakes in that last game, but we were pretty much dominating for that entire time. You know, it is good to get in these subs and get practice between different combinations of teammates. Just as you said, in that case that you do have to sub someone out, or you have to play with a different roster that isn't your starters. It gets them some experience, gets that chemistry up. And I mean, even if you do end up losing a game here, you still have two more to go until, you know, it ends up maybe you end up dropping a series. So I think it's good I think it is smart to sub in a player here.
Yeah, in my opinion, the way those two first games went, I don't think the Flames really have, unless this Bulls team can, you know, completely 180 it, I don't think this Flames team has a lot to worry about against this Bulls team. I think they handled them pretty well. They clean up those mistakes. That's probably a 4-0 game. I don't think, maybe a 4-1 game. The Bulls did have one nice play out of there, but for the most part, you know, the Flames were on top of them.
This Ghost now looking for a play by himself. It is saved away by a retract. Honestly, would have liked to see perhaps a fake or a little bit of an earlier pop. He went for the initial kind of jump around the ball, pretend I'm going to hit it, but didn't really have a powerful follow-up to it. And I mean, yeah, I think it's going to have to be some major changes out of the Bulls, because what they've been doing hasn't been working, and it has continually not worked for the past two games, and now they're in a position where they have to win, or else they will end up dropping this series. There's a good demo at the midfield. Draftee, though, ever consistent with those backboard reads, just never letting that ball be a danger from that position. And that is such an important touch to make, especially at this high of a level. As Ghost going for some more fakes, trying to see if he can, you know, debate someone out. Ball will sit at the midfield, a minute and a half gone in this game. Not much action really going down, and I mean, oh, what? That doesn't go in!
Save. Wow.
Incredible save. I think 2 players got a save in that one shot. As the follow-up did come through, another opportunity will be turned away. And
still,
I mean,
the Bulls haven't. This is their first clear, and it was Tokyo clearing it, you know, down to himself again. They're not really getting clears out to each other, or you know, they're not really creating clears for the most part. I think Tokyo's been doing a pretty decent job of getting clears he can follow up on, and
oh no,
and, oh wow. But and then, you know, if they could throw in some more of those, they'd get plays like this where the Flames are kind of flat-footed, off guard, slow, and they can clean up some weak defense there, and maybe they can start taking some games off in the series.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the speed that we've kind of been expecting and waiting for from the Bulls, is to be able to go up for those touches and get a powerful hit on net. And even if it doesn't go in, it forces out an awkward save or puts it into a position where your teammate can come in and clean it up. And this is the first time that they've had a lead in this series. We'll have to see how they play now that they're ahead. And I think even more so how the Flames play when they're behind. They have the majority of the pressure this game. Just haven't been able to find the touches that they need. And unfortunately, a few slight missteps here, and it will result in a goal for Retract.
Yeah, kind of an awkward touch there by Kawhi. I don't think he was expecting that ball to be coming towards him when it was, but it's still a ball he needs to be able to find a way to get to a corner or control. That's a ball he should be more than capable of handling a little better than he did. And you know, it could just be because it's his first time playing with these guys in a while. It's a little bit different pace of play, so that could be, you know, bringing out some of these little mistakes. But you know, I don't think it's anything to be super concerned about. But it's definitely something you can fix and work on.
Mind you, there's only a minute and 48 left in this game, so for the Flames, they need to make something happen relatively soon. And again, it has been a majority of their own mistakes that have been leading to the Bulls' goals. The only one that was forced was that first one, and it was just a great touch from Tokyo. Almost was a goal, but just a little bit too high. But unfortunately for the Flames, I mean, we're not seeing the same passing plays that we saw before in those first 2 games. It really feels like it's been a little bit more disjointed, and that the players haven't been looking for each other. And even when they have, it hasn't been the best passes that have been filtering through. They've been just a little bit behind the player. And overall, it has resulted in an offense that, in this game at least, hasn't looked as convincing as it was for the Flames.
Yeah, I think just a few touches coming out that aren't really the strongest, not really the type of touches they're used to getting, where they're kind of, you know, not quite on target, a little slow, a little behind, and you know, that can, I mean, just those in general can really slow down a team and make them play a lot different than they're comfortable.
And now finally starting to apply the pressure, though. Kawhi coming in, almost dive bomb, onto Tokyo. But 25 seconds left, and they haven't been able to find a goal. They haven't been able to find a touch. Draftee, though! Oh,
Kawhi sneaks one in off the backboard. Wow. I don't know if Draftee saw Kawhi up here, but Kawhi saw the ball, and he just sneaks one in. I mean, maybe that'll give this offense some life here with 18 seconds left. If maybe they can tie it up and take it to overtime.
That was honestly the most ridiculous backboard shot I think I've almost ever seen. There wasn't even an angle there. That was pinched against the crossbar, and oh no!
Wow. Just like that, it's all zapped away. I think kind of a fortunate demo there by Retract. I don't know if he was trying to get that demo, and then it kind of caught Kawhi and Draftee off guard. Kawhi didn't make the strongest touch to the side, kind of panic jumped a little early, didn't get a nice strong clear, and left that ball right in front of the net and an easy cleanup there.
Yeah, plus the smoke screen that does
Smoke
come from the
screen
demo.
as well. Yeah.
Didn't know where the ball was until he had to jump for it and took it away from his teammate. But that will be game 3 heading over to the Bulls. Again, though, I would have to chalk up 2 of these 3 goals. Nothing against the Bulls, but just 2 really simple defensive mistakes from the Flames.
Yeah, I could definitely see that game being a lot closer. If Kawhi gets a few more touches the way he wants to get them, I could for sure see this game being tied 1-1. But at the end of the day, you got to make your clears, and if you don't, at this level especially, they're going to get capitalized on, and that's what the Bulls have been able to do so far.
Yeah. Now, coming into game 4 here, I think it will look better from the Flames for sure. You bring in a sub for that first game that maybe you haven't played with for a little bit at least, and you could see they were only just, I feel like, starting to warm up towards the end of that.
Yeah.
The rotation looked a bit shaky in the first half, and they weren't looking for the passes, and eventually they start to kind of find that chemistry, but I think it was just a little bit too late. And there was a good amount more pressure coming out from this Orange team. But they only had 6 shots. So it still does feel like the Bulls offense is kind of just a little bit stale, honestly. They really have been able to generate opportunities themselves, and of course that doesn't mean that they haven't been able to get goals, but it just hasn't felt like they've been creating the shots for themselves. They've been relying on there being openings in the defense for them to find their goals. This one will sit in the corner. Again, it is do or die for the Bulls, so they win here, they bring it to game 5, and it's pretty much everything reset at that point. You have 5 minutes to prove if you deserve to win the series. But if they lose this game, then that is it. And they will be heading home with the loss. Ghost on the dribble. Has been opting for a few more attempts at solo plays. They haven't looked the most convincing, though. This one popped up high, retract. We'll push it downfield. Draftee now with control, gets it over 2. Looking to see what we can do in the air. Draftee! That is a bit of control and a half.
Wow, the way he's able to just, keep getting touches when Retract had no idea he was getting that touch. The control from Draftee right there was outstanding. That's just some great solo plays right there, some great dribbling skills. You love to see it, and that's the things that Draftee can do for this Flames team. He's just so solid and consistent, and is able to make plays happen really out of nothing, it seems like.
And in the middle of that, you could even see him just kind of waiting to see where the defender was positioned. He did a little bit of a half twirl with his car, saying, okay, I have the option to fake this and go under. And then he sees that the opponent isn't jumping, just says, oh, well, there's no point for that. I have the boost. I'm just going to get a second touch. Puts it over and manages to beat every single player on the Bulls to get the Flames the first goal of Game 4. A pivotal game for the Bulls, but Chaz, that is a banger.
Chaz, I feel like this is the first time I've said Chaz's name this whole series, but the way that was a nice placement, almost 70 miles an hour, some strength on that one. Well done by Chaz, put a nice solid shot on target and making it really difficult for Draftee to save that one.
And that is what we need to see here from the Bulls. It's just better shots in general. And when they have managed to find power and accuracy, that's when they've looked the best. It's either gone in or they just have a very easy follow-up for themselves. A double come out of the Flames. And with this touch back into the Bulls half, we are going to start approaching the midway mark in this game. I do personally, though, want to see a bit more out of Ghost and Kawhi at the midfield. It really has felt like they've been mostly silent on maybe the passing plays and the clears in these challenges, and they've really been sitting back pretty far, waiting for the touches to come to them, and that could be for a majority of reasons. It could just be them letting Draftee do what Draftee wants, or they're boost starved, but it really is a lot more passive than what we saw in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It seems like whenever it's either, I want to say, Kawhi or Ghost challenging, and a lot of the times it's not really the strongest challenges. I think they're getting beat more often than not, and I don't think a lot of the 50s seem to be going their way either, which could be just to a lack of speed. Oh. Chaz has had a few he's kind of woken up this series. He wants to take this, and he wants to go to Game 5, but I love to see it. There's definitely a little bit more speed and energy out of Chaz this game so far.
Absolutely. Has really been tearing it up. And I mean, I think the Bulls have had a majority of the pressure in this game. They managed to keep the ball in the opposition half for most of the time, and as we're approaching the final minute, we're gonna have to see which players step forward for the teams here. Can Kawhi and Ghost really come forward and support Draftee? Oh, Tokyo tries to drop it down for his teammate, but can't find it. And I think Tokyo is kind of another story as well. I think he's had great performances his past few weeks, and of course that is kind of affecting what I think people are expecting out of him. But he has for sure had a quieter series, and we'll have to see if him, or even Retract really can come forward and add to this offense. But we have 30 seconds left in game number 4, still 1-1. Oh, this could be a shot though for Retract, but it's saved away by Kawhi. 25 seconds left. It's now a breakaway. Kawhi by himself. Too many players committed, and he is gonna give the Flames the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, he realized he just really needed to touch that ball. It didn't really matter exactly where he hit it, but as long as he got that touch quick and beat the attacker coming towards him, he would have had another dribble, and he got a wide open net. So well done by Kawhi there to see that he just needs to get that last touch, be quick, be speedy to it, and he takes that last second lead here for the Flames.
Now it's all about killing time with these clears, getting the ball out of their half. Tokyo will keep on the pressure. The Bulls, they're going to have one more opportunity, and that is it. Draftee will clear it to the side. This is the last chance here. Tokyo putting it towards the net, but Ghost will drop it. And it will be the Flames taking the 3-1 victory over the Bulls.
Yeah, the Flames team, they looked pretty solid. Bulls, Chaz was starting to wake up there towards the end, but, a little too late, as they say. And yeah, I don't know. The Bulls just didn't really seem to be connecting and starting plays. They just seem to be kind of reacting to plays and not really generating their own plays, which, I don't know. I think that's at this level, when these teams are as good as they are, you need to find a way to start generating plays and shots and goals, whether that's, demo plays, passing